Jeez. Golly, man.
Yeah.
Hi, it looks like it's just a formality, man. We're waiting to see how things are going to go. 0.7 seconds left in overtime. It looks like you got AD stepping to the free throw line to effectively seal this one, man. Golly, you don't want to see the Pistons lose this one. It was a lot of good mojo around, with Cade Cunningham, Dennis Jenkins, and Marcus Sasser all being back in their home state. So let's see what happens here, man. Let's see what happens here. Looks like side out, 0.7 seconds. Pistons are down 2-1, 16-114. You guys already know it's your boy Kool-Aid. We got Platte over there.
Damn.
All right, let's see. Dennis gets a steal, but that's it for the game.
Yeah.
Man. I'm sitting here just waiting to see if anything crazy happens, man, before.
I mean,
I didn't expect Cade to get the 3 free throws he got like a couple weeks ago at the end of the
game. That's what I'm saying, man. And we've seen in this game, we've seen some things happen and they don't happen. You know what I mean? So I'm waiting to see maybe
Cade
there's a little
tossed,
yeah.
And then all of a sudden Cade not tossed.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Gosh,
that was ridiculous.
This is a tough one, man. I'm actually glad that we're doing this post game. I know it's a late one, so shout out to anybody and everybody who taps in. This is the Woodward Sports Detroit Pistons post game show. We're gonna break it down for you guys, man. I know I see it already. Dante151 is in the chat, and I'm just seeing his vitriol right now for these refs, dog. We're going to get there.
Yeah.
Pistons lose 116-114 in overtime, man. In overtime. They fought back like several times in that second half. And I wonder how much of it is not only did they run out of gas, but you were down a couple players. Asar Thompson was having a good game when he got tossed out the game. And I still don't understand why he got tossed. I really don't understand. He didn't touch the ref. It didn't look like he touched the ref. And then you got Duncan Robinson as well, who had a knee injury, knocked knees with somebody tonight, and that took him out the game. So they were already down a couple. And then you just had kind of no offensive rhythm, no offensive cohesion, none of that to really start the game. And I'm disappointed because I was about to say this, man. Eric Moy, he kind of beat me to the punch. Let me see if I can get up here on the screen. He says, "What up, though, and happy birthday, Chris."
Appreciate you, Eric. Appreciate you, Kool-Aid. Hey, I'm a man of the people. You see where I'm at. It's my birthday, but you see where I'm at. I'm here breaking down the Pistons. Honestly, it was a great birthday until just about five minutes ago or less. It was man. This was a tough one. This was one that you looked like you just flat out didn't belong to start the game. I mean. We talk about stocks being such an important thing for this Piston team and such just like a good representative of their effort level, their intensity. And tonight, this Dallas team was giving them problems. And credit to Dallas, man, because this is I know their record might not give it to you, but this is a very good team when fully healthy. They just have not been healthy all year. And they're still not, by the way. They're missing a superstar in Kyrie Irving. So this is a team that has a lot of talent and particularly a lot of size on the front line. You got Cooper Flagg, you got Anthony Davis, you got Daniel Gafford. They're even down some big men and Derek Lively and such, but this team still just finds a way to be big, be physical, and that is the Pistons' MO. So this is a team, Dallas, that matches up pretty well against the Pistons because you have wings like Najee Marshall and PJ Washington, who are big, rangy wings that can also defend Cade Cunningham that you saw. Those were the two primary defenders for Cade Cunningham. And, it was tough because Cade could beat them. And after you beat all that size, then you have Anthony Davis or Daniel Gafford waiting at the rim. Much like the Pistons, you beat Jalen Duren, you have Isaiah Stewart at the rim and vice versa. So this Dallas team, man, I'm not going to crash out about it. I think some people can because they can look at how bad Dallas is on the season record-wise, but this Dallas team is talented as hell, and they have the athleticism, the size to give the Pistons problems, and that's what they did tonight. I don't think the Pistons played without effort, but I think that they allowed Dallas to match their effort level for most of this game, and it was until the fourth quarter, really, where the Pistons kind of really, really pulled away and you saw it start to wear on the team. You saw Najee Marshall, every chance he could, was taking a breath. You saw all these guys were spent. The Pistons were filled with energy, and then they were able to take that, bring it all the way back. And then the fact that they didn't close out hurt them, because then in overtime, the home team always has momentum, especially when they were down and got it to overtime. So Dallas kind of took that momentum back after the Detroit knocked the wind out of their sails. So it was a good game, man. It was a good game. But the offense was tough, but I give that a lot of credit to Dallas, honestly, more than I looked at what the Pistons were doing. I didn't think the Pistons played particularly bad. I just think they allowed Dallas to play with the same intensity, and Dallas played good defense too.
Yeah, no, I think Dallas is a very underrated team. A lot of times people look at the record instead of the context. And, when you look at the injuries and such, and then getting an Anthony Davis back, you're exactly right. They're one of those teams that are going to be able to cause the Pistons some problems, some issues, especially when you talk about rangy. And most importantly, it's not necessarily that they're just rangy. It's not that they have the size. It's about matching the physicality more than anything, and that's nothing that the Pistons can necessarily control except for make sure they keep theirs up. But, Dallas Mavericks, they were up to the task, not in terms of matching the physicality, but making sure that they can handle the physicality the Pistons were throwing their way. And I think that when the refs are a little bit inconsistent, and we will get there, guys. Trust me, we will get there, but we got to break down this game. There's basketball stuff that the Pistons could have done to overcome what the referees were doing tonight. There's trust me. And if this team wants to get to the heights that they are projecting now, number one seed in the East, and we want to see this team get to the playoffs and be able to overcome. Like, you go back and look at those Cavs games, and you ask and look at why they keep flaming out. They don't know how to handle playoff pressure. This Pistons team, you look at last year, it doesn't matter what the refs did to us. If we didn't overcome them.
Yeah.
And guess where the Pistons went? Home. Even with everybody saying, but we know the Pistons got screwed. Tim Hardaway got fouled on the three. It was so blatant. It doesn't matter.
Cade missed a shot right before that.
That's what I'm saying. If you have to find, trust me, I know. I have spent years, well over a decade as Detroit Kool-Aid, seeing the Lions and the Pistons and Red Wings and Tigers get screwed, bro, even our college teams. And I'm telling you, the years that we won championships, we got screwed too. I'm telling you. So this year is a little bit different. This is one where I did believe, even though Dallas is a formidable opponent, a little bit more than their record would suggest, I do believe that the Detroit Pistons had enough to be able to go out there and pull out a victory. And there were some things they could have done down that stretch just a little bit better. But the refs were frustrating. I'm just going to save that for a little bit later so we can get through the basketball of it all, because I do believe that this is one after you lose Asar Thompson, after you lose Duncan Robinson. I thought that they settled in a little bit. They had a couple nice stretches. And I think that who helped to really change things in this game, you got to shout out Dennis Jenkins. He had a stretch there to help pull this game from double digits. They were down double digits to within 4 points, 89-93. And he has such a pivotal run during that time. And this is the thing that I have about tonight. And this is why I said we're going to get at the refs. Trust me, we are. But when Dennis Jenkins came in the game, and even Marcus Sass here, bro, even Sass, did you notice a difference in the energy, in the hustle, and how they were getting after it? It was just different with how Dennis Jenkins was even attacking the paint. It was just different. And that, to me, after that is when I believe the Pistons, even Cade Cunningham came back in the game, and he had a nice little hot stretch. And to me, when on those nights when your bench players are coming off the bench and there's clear differences in the energy, that to me is when there's a problem. That to me is when you're going to be in some trouble. And in these close games where you're playing a team in the Dallas Mavericks who have a whole bunch of energy guys, it can get you caught up. And you were right. Them matching all night, that's you put yourself in a position to where, think about it, you're at the peril now of a referee's call. Now you're at the peril of, if you make a mistake, now you're at the peril of Cade shot a three at the end of the game, and that boy rimmed out. You see what I'm saying? Now these things are going to have that much more of an effect against you because of what happened prior. So that's why I'm like, you know what? The Pistons had an opportunity, in my opinion, to still win this thing, not necessarily going away, but at least with some breathing room. And obviously, if Beef Stew hits the free throw,
yeah,
he splits at the end. So
yeah,
that's why I say, like, there are things that we know we have criticized this team for, and we said, hey, in wins, right? Oh man, if y'all don't hit your free throws, it can come back to haunt you.
Mm-hmm.
This could be one of those games where it's like, you know what? If Stu steps to the line and hits those free throws, we might not even be talking about overtime.
Yeah, I think you very well aren't. Like this Piston team played good enough. They played good enough to be there, but they didn't play good enough to win, and that was the bottom line.
Yeah.
Like I know that we are going to talk about the officiating and all of that, but ultimately, this is something that again you can do things that can put the refs out of control. That's why I don't like those narratives, because it just completely strips this team of accountability for their own games, and I don't.
The stats look
I don't
so
like
skewed, though, bro. Like
they
when we
do.
actually go through,
I'm not saying it wasn't
section,
terrible.
It's terrible.
Yeah, I'm not saying it wasn't terrible. I mean, it was very clear that they were eager. They were jumpy on the whistle with the Pistons, and they were kind of hesitant with the Mavs. But I say all that to say that, man, look, this Piston team, again, Isaiah Stewart's free throw, the defense down the stretch, allowing Cooper to get such an easy jump shot. Stu and Cade should have fought through that screen, or should have communicated on that screen better in their coverage, because they kind of allowed him to walk into an easy pull-up jump shot that you and I could still hit to this day. Like, it was just, there were things that were beyond the officiating that I think this Piston team fell short. And ultimately, again, the Pistons are a team where they win a lot of games off their effort and their will and their intensity. And it is very rare that you see a team able to match that. And tonight, the Pistons allowed Dallas to match it. And I'm going to continue to say allowed to, because this Dallas team is a good team. Again, I talked about how good they are. But I still think that the Pistons allowed them to be intense, allowed them to be physical with them. I think the Pistons could have came out with a stronger energy, put it on the table, and let them know this court is ours tonight. This court is ours tonight. You could try what you want, but it's not going to work. And instead, what they did is for 4 quarters, they gave this team life and momentum.
But what I'm saying here is this. We know that the referees, the calls, it changed the flow of the game. But what took Asar Thompson out the game, this team is going to have to get a little bit better. What almost took Cunningham out the game. Look, y'all playing with that bad boys energy. So much so that you got Adam Silver's attention. He's talking about from the league offices now, you know what? It's looking like people want the physical again. Well, who's leading in that right now? You got OKC, You got the Pistons, you got up-and-coming team like the Dallas Mavericks. You got the Celtics, who still play a certain brand. They're not they don't got the size, but they still try to make sure they're manning up and playing defense. Like, you have teams like this. And if you know that, though, the league has not made that change yet, you know what's going to wind up happening? The teams that are playing a little bit softer aren't going to get called for the calls that you think they should. The teams that are going out there and bringing that bad boys energy, you're going to get called for some calls. So if you know that to be the case, you're going to have to find a way to stay on the court and to be able to maintain and control your emotions straight up. Because what you don't want is the ref bias or inherent bias. Because I'm not going to say it's bias, reportedly or allegedly maybe.
Right.
You don't want that to grow throughout the course of the game. Because the person who threw out Asar Thompson is also the individual who just walked up from out of nowhere and initially bloop, bloop, and it was Cade, and everybody in the world saw it was Cade. And then it was almost as if somebody realized, bro, you can't throw him out of this game. And whatever happened, JB Bickerstaff got the tech. But that's still 3 or 4 technicals on our guys tonight. That's the thing. So it's like, if this is the way that the league is going to be, then the only way that the Pistons are going to be able to counteract some of these things is if they keep their own emotions in check. I'm just going to be straight up. They have to. And if they don't, the league is not changing. Do I want them to get it right? Yes. We sat on these interwebs for as long as we've been Pistons fans and Lions fans and Tiger. Talking about all of the referee stuff, but we already know how that's going to go. They'll send us a letter and even admit it, and we sitting at home. The teams that we've seen win, though, I've seen them go out there and say, you know what, I don't care how you call the game for Kobe and Shaq. I just don't. I know the free throws that they normally get. I don't care. And look at all the teams that they had to go through to get there. A bunch of free throw merchants. They went through the Dwayne Wades. They went through the LeBron Jameses. They went through the Reggie Millers. They went through the T-Macs, through the AIs. They beat these teams, but they had to overcome those teams. They had to overcome also the fact that we knew we were never going to get a ref's whistle. This is what it's always been. That's why I'm like, okay, bro, it's crazy what happened tonight. I do not appreciate it, because when we go to the stats, you're going to be like, what the heck? This is completely skewed. But the Pistons were still right in there, and we saw that they had opportunities to make it happen. And you're right. The fact that we saw a different energy out of Ron Holland and Dennis Jenkins than we saw from the rest of the team, that type of stuff matters to me, man. And you know what? When you look at the starters in this game, the Mavericks starters, all but Anthony Davis, all shot. Anthony Davis shot 7 of 18. Cooper Flagg, 8 of 20. Everybody else shot at least 50% or better in that starting lineup. Their starters went out there and handled everything, and they relied on them heavily, except for Williams off the bench, who also got 31 minutes. And when you look at our starters across the board, you're looking at Duncan Robinson, who before he went out was 1 of 7. That's a starter. Tobias Harris, 0 of 5. That's a starter. Asar Thompson was 3 of 7 before he went out. So that's 3 of them under 500. None of the starters shot over 500. And I get it. With the way that the fouls and the free throws go, that's going to make a big, big difference. But I thought that this team had an opportunity to pick up defensively in a way that we're used to, that they didn't quite do tonight. We've come on here and we've talked about the fact that this team is one of the ones that is inching towards those astronomical defensive rating numbers. You know, you start getting beneath 107, 106, 105, 104. Now you're approaching the aspect of OKC Thunder. And the Pistons are the number 2 defensive rating team. They just didn't quite look like it consistently tonight.
Yeah, they didn't. They absolutely didn't. They allowed too much. Again, they allowed too much in the interior. Like, I'm going to say this, and they only won the points in the paint battle by 10. And that is not a typical Pistons margin. It is usually higher than that. In a game that's 2-3 points, you know, like that right there can make the difference. Everybody's going to point to the free throws. Everybody's going to point to the fact that this Pistons team doesn't shoot threes. Well, guess what? They made 1 more 3 than Dallas tonight. Worst percentage.
And they both shot under 20%.
Yeah, they both shot terrible from 3. So you didn't lose the game on the perimeter. You lost it in the interior, in the mid-range, and the free throw line. Like, you lost it inside the arc. And another place you lost it, Kool-Aid, and I know you just kind of talked about the defense, but to go to the offense, how many fast break points did they blow? They won fast break points. They won 12 to 10, but they blew a lot. They blew at least a couple in that first half. Remember, there was the one with I believe it was LeVert and I think Asar, and LeVert tried to keep it for Asar, or LeVert and Holland, I believe, actually. LeVert and Holland. Then there was another one shortly after that. Like, this team blew, like they were 2 for 1s. Kool-Aid, 2 for 1s. This is stuff that in middle school you're executing perfectly, like, let alone the NBA. So it was just sloppy stuff like that. They were great. Yeah. They didn't turn the ball over, but that right there, a couple of those, even one of those, makes a difference in this game. Like, it's just when the margins are that tight, when the score is that tight, then, you know, there's so many things that you can look at and you can point to. But really, the things I put the points of emphasis on is if you blow the easy stuff, you don't deserve to win. And they blew some easy stuff tonight, flat out.
Well, and it means you don't deserve to, but everybody effectively does. Everybody wins blowing the easy stuff and getting calls and missing calls and all of that. But this one's interesting here. I see you, Cosmic Horse HD 364. OMG. This team blaming is insane. LMAO, it's on the refs. Sorry, you can't expect the players to play good without having any momentum and the refs taking their breath every second. Now, trust me, I have made that same post online for decades. I promise you that. Tell me this, Chris Platte. What good would that post have done during last year's playoffs, though? You see what I'm saying? They're not going to change anything. We can blame them all day long. They will send us the literal apology letter. Remember, guys, we're also Lions fans. We've experienced this. What did they do for us with Skipper? Reported. Nothing. What did they do? Nothing.
Yeah.
What did they do last year with Tim Hardaway? Nothing. So that's my thing. We're going to get to the referees. We're going to talk about the fact that, yes, there are things that have affected what the Pistons normally want to do tonight. And the refs had a big part to do with that. So can this team evolve? Can this team reach a plateau where the expectation is, okay, we know the refs can be on that BS every single night because we play physical and the rest of the league not there. The rules are literally changed because of the 2004 Pistons. So what the Pistons are trying to do right now, JB Bickerstaff said it. We try to toe the line. We walk very close, and sometimes we may go over. They know what they're doing, and that develops a reputation. Other teams in the league talk about it. That I'm just being true. I'm around scouts.
Yeah.
We get to hear this stuff. Like, I'm just being true. But it's a reputation. And now players are saying, well, when the Pistons show up, we know what type of game it is. So now you got teams, when they see them, that are circling the calendar, and they're going to come out with a certain amount of energy and a certain amount of, well, this is a big game. A certain amount of, oh, man, they was just on national TV. That type of stuff is going to start happening. And I'm telling you, with the results that we've seen in the past, just as recently as last playoffs, if this team does not find a way to overcome these things, Cosmic Horse HD, let me ask you this. Would you be surprised if the refs hose the Pistons in this coming playoffs? Who's surprised that they got hosed tonight? We've been sitting there talking about for Cade's whole career that he's not getting calls. But he's ascended to all-star, star, and then superstar, all-NBA, third team, and will be all-NBA at least second and deserves first team this year. Why? Because he's learning to overcome that crap. There was a time where when Cade wasn't getting the calls, Cade wasn't averaging over 25 points a game. Cade's still not getting the calls, but we saw Cade now getting a little bit, he got in the weight room. Now it's like, get off of me. Now he's getting to the rim. And now he's putting himself in a position to where it's so egregious that he's getting a few more calls now. But they had to push the issue because the league is not trying to prop up Detroit. We just saw this. I ain't not trying to have any of us feel like we did last year. That was tough. So that's what I'm saying. Like, this team, I do believe, has it in it to be good enough to overcome the referees. Not that the referees didn't affect things tonight. Not that you can just win a game without a Sar Thompson out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying any of that. We will get there. But there were things that I saw tonight when we talk about a team that could be a squad that represents the Eastern Conference in the finals. There were things that I thought that they could do better. Platte and I told y'all this, and along with the rest of the crew, I'm not looking at this team necessarily from a game-by-game basis. I'm looking at how this team is improving as it relates to a playoff contender, championship contender. They're a number one seed in the NBA in the Eastern Conference right now. And when you look at all of the supporting metrics, it looks like this is something that's going to stand. So how do you make sure that you don't wind up as the Cleveland Cavaliers or the Pistons of last year? And that's where I do believe it is important to focus on some of the aspects that they could have done better to overcome this and have this be one of those games. Like, you know what we were doing the last couple years with the Lions during the regular season? We were still complaining about the fact that all last year, the Lions only received one pass interference call to their benefit. One. But we were still saying, yeah, but we're good enough, man. Yeah, but they can overcome that. I do believe the Pistons can get there. So I'm not excusing the refs. Trust me on that. But I do believe that we need to start thinking, this is not last year's Pistons team. This is a team with an actualized Cade, a Jalen Duren stepping into that prowess. We talking about giving them 35 plus million. Well, I mean, are we not, Platte? There's just a different level of critique that comes with that. Trust me, man. That's why I wanted to get on here and go ham on the referees because it was crazy tonight. So I level with people on that, man. I do. Anything before we get to the box score and then to those referees?
No, I just want to throw a stat out there that the Pistons, I will say
people
this.
They're mad, bro.
Oh, yeah, I know. I can't wait to get to the ref stuff. The Pistons, you realize outside of that Cleveland game where they got embarrassed on national TV or whatever you call Peacock, but when they got embarrassed that game, outside of that game, the rest of their losses have been by 4 points or less each time. This Piston team is in it every single game, Kool-Aid. Every single game. All but one game this entire season has the Pistons been either in it and lost close or won the game. Like, it's one of those things that's super, super impressive, man. That's the making of a good team. Like, there is one team that blew them out. And you look at where that team is in the standings, and that looks like a complete fluke. That looks like a complete fluke. So the fact that they've gone up against almost every team in the NBA right now and line them all up, and nobody can like just absolutely like smack this Piston team down a peg. Now we'll see. We haven't played OKC yet. But there's still some good teams to play. But that's just so impressive to me, man, that we're this deep in the season. And this Piston team just doesn't get blown out. Because how many nights does it not go your way?
Yeah.
And for this Piston team to, even the nights it doesn't go their way, make it work like tonight. So tonight was a great example. Again, they impressed me even in losses.
Yeah. Because I don't want people to get this impression. Hank on the bank. Y'all stop blaming the players. We came back from 29. We're not necessarily blaming the players. Like we told you, the referees had a lot to do with this. But the first thing we're not going to do is jump on here and start talking about, man, the referees. If that could change something, like if I knew, okay, they could go back and they can change something or have us play the last 20 seconds of a game, they never do that. So it's like we could be that fan base that we already know what the deal is, or we could believe that our team is good enough to overcome that. I personally believe that. Now, I could get egg on my face. This could wind up like last season, and everyone could just be sitting around talking about, man, the refs. We will hold them accountable. I promise you that. But if I do believe this team is good enough to overcome that type of stuff, what am I supposed to do?
Let me ask you one quick question as we're talking about the rest here. So you're with the team, you're covering the team, you're in the press room. Do you think any of those players are bringing up post-game the officiating unless they're asked it?
They are. They're going to talk about it.
That's where they go to.
I don't know if the players will do it, but I know if the coach will.
Oh yeah, coaches. That's what coaches do. That's what coaches do.
Players know.
But I'm just saying,
if they're asked it, then they will talk about it. But hold on. Actually, just Stu at the podium right now. He said that he's glad they were able to get back in the game and get to overtime.
Mm-hmm. I just don't see his Pistons.
Hold on. I think he's being asked about the fouls now.
Okay.
About controlling the chaos. All right, Stu says a lot of frustration. Stu looks frustrated, man. I think they're disappointed. His press conference is going. So JB Bickerstaff, he was fired up. He was heated up. And I get that. He has to stand up for his guys, take the fines, and you want to see that out of your coach. Sideline JB Bickerstaff and post-game press conference one is definitely dope, man. But they asked Isaiah Stewart about, hey, kind of frustrating flow to the game tonight. And he said, it was a lot of frustrations. We have to learn to effectively better control who we are as a team, but he definitely looks frustrated, and that's what I'm saying. Like in the maturation for these players, I remember how Cade used to look. Like, think about this. Chat family, level with me. I promise you 2 years ago, we were just saying, like, Cade needs to get his foul calls. This is the reason why he's not at All-Star. This is the reason why the Pistons aren't winning yet. Cade didn't get his foul calls last year, but he came back like bigger, stronger, more like you could see the physique. We were in practice in training camp Cade definitely been in the weight room. We also noticed Jaden Ivey was a little bit more bulked up at the beginning of last year. And then what did we see? Cade started going in and doing this, and then that's where his little flex celebration came from. And that's what I'm saying. Y'all think when you wear this, we ever going to get a fair shake? It's not happening. It's not happening, y'all. But I was like you said, man, kind of like clockwork. JB Bickerstaff, he stepped to the podium and was pissed off. Isaiah Stewart, you could tell he was frustrated, but it wasn't the first thing he talked about. He talked about things that they need to do to get better. I think that's the formula that you need out of your players. But
that's my point, is that I think that if you're, us as fans and people that are covering the team, you can point to the officials, and yes, it could absolutely be a part of it. It can absolutely sometimes even be a central thing. But at the end of the day, these players are wired to believe that it is the onus is on them, and they're going to look at what they can do. And that's how Cade got to the superstar level. That's how these players have progressed. You don't get there waiting. You don't get to anywhere in life waiting for somebody else, putting your faith in somebody else's hands, or putting your fate in somebody else's hands. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and I get the frustration. And my man Aaron in the chat, Kool-Aid is desperately trying to deflect from the rest. I am not. He said, "Be pissed, Kool-Aid. I call out the BS." What does he say here? I'll call out the B. He said, "Be pissed, Kool-Aid. I call out the BS, no matter who says it." Look, it's not being like I'm a hooper, man. Like that's just where I come from. I played college ball, NCAA D2. I was blessed. Was all-state here in the state of Michigan in high school. I was blessed with that. Played on a lot of teams. The first thing they tell us is you don't say anything to the refs and you don't complain about the refs. You go out there and you get on the court because you're better than them. Can that person hold you one-on-one? So it's like, first of all, that's the first mentality, because I've had games taken away from me due to refs. I have. And that sucked. I'm telling you, that sucked. I know that the next year, me and my team won our conference championship too, with some of those same refs in the league. I know how these guys called games and things, and that's on our little high school level. I get that. But I'm just saying the psychology of how it goes. So when I'm sitting here talking about the Pistons, just like Isaiah Stewart didn't step to the podium and talk about the players, JB Bickerstaff did. We're going to get to those. I mean, talk about the refs, JB Bickerstaff did. We're going to get there. I promise you that. I promise you that, because it is crazy. But we got to talk about our squad first, who has championship aspirations. That's just how it goes, man. That's how it goes. And now, for Aaron S., maybe we'll get there a little bit, man. But here we go. Tobias Harris, we already went through Tobias Harris, Duncan Robinson, 0 of 5 for Tobias Harris, 1 of 7 for Duncan Robinson, a combined 0 of 7 from behind the arc.
Yep.
Asar Thompson, only 9 minutes in this game, but he had 8 points, 3 of 7. I think he helps a lot if he's still in that game. Jalen Duren, 34 minutes. I thought for the level of physicality, I thought he actually played really good. 17 points, 8 of 20 field goals, 13 rebounds. Cade Cunningham, 45 minutes, played almost the entire game plus some overtime. 29 points, 12 of 30 field goals, 2 of 9 3-point, 10 rebounds. Just missed out on the triple-double with 9 assists. And then when you look through the bench, I'm just going to kind of zoom through this real quick. Paul Reed, I thought he played some effective minutes. He was in the game with Dennis Jenkins when they made that comeback, closed the gap to 4. Paul Reed, 2 of 3 from the floor. Isaiah Stewart, 14 points, 5 of 10 from the floor, 1 of 3 from behind the arc, 7 rebounds. Ron Holland, who I thought played well, probably deserved a few more minutes tonight. He did get 20 minutes, 12 points, 5 of 11 from the floor, 7 rebounds for him. Javonte Green, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 points, 1 of 5 shooting. I thought he was a good energy guy, but obviously the guys who we normally see making shots, they just weren't making the shots tonight from behind the arc or in the paint. And Karis LeVert, 27 minutes, 6 points, 3 of 8 shooting, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Marcus Sasser got a few minutes, and I thought his minutes were productive. No points, but 2 rebounds, 3 assists. Jaden Ivey, I thought he was playing good, but didn't really get the minutes. Him and Holland, I would have given a few more minutes to. But Jaden Ivey, 14 minutes, 8 points, 3 of 6 shooting, 2 of 4 from behind the arc, just 14 minutes. I don't know if that's a minutes restrictions thing or not. And then Dennis Jenkins, a big 20 minutes, 11 points, 4 of 8 from the field, 4 rebounds for Dennis Jenkins, who played really good minutes. During his minutes is when you saw the Pistons really start to make that push to come back. And when you look at the team stats, a lot of things that we look at to see if the Pistons are dominating, they actually did. They out-rebounded the Mavs by 11. Offensive rebounds was 26-11 for the Pistons. So they got 26. They got, 15 more offensive chances, second chances, just off offensive rebounds. Let's see here. The assists, they out-assisted them, 26-22. Steals, 11-4. Blocks, though, they got the Mavs with 15 blocks to the Pistons 4. Fast break points, 12-10. Points in the paint, 70-60, which is absolutely insane. And the foul calls in this one, 27-21. Technical fouls, 3-1. And the crazy thing about this is how many shot attempts the Pistons took. 122 shot attempts to the Mavericks, 89. And that's due to a lot of the second chance points that the Pistons or opportunities that the Pistons were able to get. There were a lot of misses early on from behind the arc that the Pistons were able to go up there and rebound. A lot of tips around the rim. And this is where I do believe when you're talking about the referees and offensive cohesion and things of that nature, first, tossing Ausar Thompson was crazy to me. It was just crazy. And you're removing one of the best defensive players in the NBA, not just on the Pistons, but in the NBA from the floor. You're removing somebody who was playing pivotally that secondary facilitator while on the floor with Cade Cunningham. I thought that was, we obviously know here in Detroit how important Ausar Thompson is, but that right there I already knew, okay, we got some issues because we were having a tough time defending the Dallas Mavericks players from getting into the paint at will. Yes. You lose your best defender at that, you're going to have issues all night. And I think that the Pistons lost us a little bit more on the defensive side tonight than they did on the offensive side tonight. They didn't hit their defensive rating number tonight, but they hit their offensive rating number. And that's why I believe that tossing Ausar was actually way more egregious than anything else we saw the whole rest of the night. It wasn't warranted. And it's your best defensive player. It felt cheap too. It felt like the referee was trying to upstage the game. Like the referee was trying to be the center of attention. And I always think that, but I always try to say, all right, you know what, let me not put that out there into the EOS. But when Cade Cunningham was actually kind of trying to express his case because he had just gotten fouled on a 3. And then they come down and they call some BS the other way. He's like, bro, like, what's going on? Like, what do I got to do? The referee with the number 10 on his back, I forget his name, just walks right up from out of nowhere, kind of bumps into Cade, calls a tech, and it looks like it's Cade that's out. The broadcast thought that. Everybody thought that. But then we come back, and it's actually J.B. Bickerstaff who receives the technical, and Cade Cunningham is still out there. You know, this type of stuff is crazy because when you have that many shots, 122 shots, bro, but you only get 20 free throw attempts because that's the stat that I held for now. They were 14 of 20 from the night. Dallas Mavericks were 31 to 36. 36 free throw attempts for the Dallas Mavericks, bro.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's out of balance. That's out of pocket. I just prefer to look at it as you had almost 40 extra shots in this team. Like, could have got 2 of those home, 1 of those home, and we have a different game. So I think that while the officials are absolutely to blame, and especially with that Ausar ejection was to me the most egregious because I like what you said about it being like the center stage. To me, it looked like he just had a bone to pick with this Pistons squad because you watch that ejection in slow motion and Ausar doesn't touch him, right? Like Ausar doesn't touch him, maybe grazes him at best. And it doesn't look like he said anything. Like in slow motion, he got re-lips. Like it didn't look like he said anything egregious. But what the ref did is the ref ejects him, keeps walking, doesn't even engage with him. That to me is the craziest part. Is so you're going to toss me out of this game, keep walking like it's nothing, just walk to the other end, not give JB an exclamation, not give Ausar, nobody. It's just boom, you're out. I'm keep walking. Doesn't even look at him. It was so.
But Platte, it was so weird the way that I did though. That's why I'm saying, like, trust me, Aaron and everybody else in the chat. I level with you guys. I feel exactly like you do. The problem is the NBA doesn't operate that way. Dante, I'm glad you put this up on the screen because it backs up what I was saying earlier. They have developed a reputation. We know Stu is getting certain technicals by reputation. Why did he get a technical the other night in that scrum with Jaylen Brown? He didn't do anything. Jaylen Brown was the one aggressing him. And I'm glad that when they went back and looked at it, that they assessed Jaylen Brown with a tech. But why did they keep it on Stu? Stu has gotten these reputations. Joe Dumars put in his letter when Stu got that suspension last year. You know, prior things is the reason why this offense that wouldn't have been a suspension is now a suspension.
Right.
Now you put this on the screen from Dante 151. JB Bickerstaff, a referee, makes a comment to me saying, night by night, this is how our interactions are. So that tells me that the ref isn't being objective. Right. I agree. That's why I said, no matter how bad they're doing you, you got to keep your composure. I don't think that that's a wrong thing for me to say to our team that we all hope does well and achieves as much as they can get this year. That's what I'm talking about. And I know JB Bickerstaff is hot. Rightfully so. The problem is it's never going to All right, let me put it this way. What they're doing right now is akin to, was it Schwartz pulling the flag against the Texans on like Thanksgiving when they were going to review it anyway? But if you pull the flag and throw it, now you've just shot yourself in the foot, even though you were done wrong. That's what I'm trying to help y'all understand. So that's why I said we'll get on here. We'll talk about it. See, everyone's making sure we know the name of the ref is John Goble. We will talk about that. I promise you. But the referees in the league is now telling the Pistons to a degree, your reputation precedes you. Yes. That's just what it is. Your reputation precedes you. That allows these referees to go out there, and if they feel like they're in an attitudinal mode, they can do whatever they want to do. Even if that referee gets reprimanded later, they're not going back and changing the result of a game.
Exactly.
So if the Pistons do not understand, hey, guys, they're going to be on our tail tonight. So we have to be sure with the ball when we're in the paint. We got to make sure we're knocking down our free throws. Because I promise you, those 2 free throws go down for Stu. We're probably not even talking about this right now. We're talking about how they overcame the referees. Because this is the team that they are and their identity and blah, 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 blah. That's the whole point here. So I'm telling y'all, these referees did several things tonight to slow and to distort what this could have been. I'm telling you that. You're taking a player off the court in Asar Thompson, and you're not giving another team the calls that they deserve, so it's going to plummet things. We saw Cade Cunningham get fouled on 2. There were at least 2 or 3 3-pointers they took tonight where they were fouled on, and they just didn't call it. Jalen Duren was getting hacked all game. Isaiah Stewart was getting hacked all game, even on rebounds. This type of stuff affects things. Then all of a sudden, you start to see their frustration start to mount up. And that's it. That's it. Mm-hmm. We're sitting here right now breaking down a win or a loss. A loss. Oh,
yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm hoping that the NBA gets this stuff in check. I really do. Because I feel like the game of basketball in itself is who's the biggest loser in this, no matter what team comes out a victor. When your people can sit down and watch the game of basketball, and our chat, you see it. I've seen the Pistons get holes. We were just in the playoffs against the Knicks. I was sitting there with who? You and Anton. And what were people telling me then? When I was saying we're getting hosed by the refs in those playoffs, what were people telling me then? You and Anton told me, we got to overcome, right?
Yep.
And that became the phrase of that stream. We got to overcome. We got to overcome. We got to overcome until the referees hose us. And we realize, actually, maybe this is more than a joke. If we do not overcome this stuff, look what's going to happen and look what can happen. You know, but it's like I don't want to absolve. Like I don't want people to think like I'm trying to absolve the referees in the NBA. No, trust me. I will stand here as a person who credentialed. I will say this. Hey, NBA, with all due respect, something different has to be done because it looked like the Pistons got jobbed tonight. I'm just being honest with you. It looked like the Pistons got jobbed. It literally looked like the referees were intent on making sure this was going to be as difficult a game for the Pistons as possible. They weren't talking with the Pistons. They were barely giving explanations on anything. I don't even understand how J.B. Bickerstaff got teed up because he was coming out to just take Cade Cunningham off. I showed you. We got the text from Pistons PR like, oh, that's a tech on J.B. actually. Like letting us know, like well after. So we're just like, whoa, what the heck is going on? Like, so from that standpoint, 100% from the soapbox that we have to be able to say, you got to do better because I believe that you're going to ruin an opportunity with one of the game's brightest young stars and young players in Cade Cunningham. Another one of the game's youngest and brightest young stars in Jalen Duren. That's not fair to these guys at all. All the work that we see them putting in, the injuries that they're coming back from. Cade Cunningham literally went and had preventative surgery on fractures in his leg. When we start talking about from that component, it's like, what are we doing? You got fans in Detroit who are caring about it and buying back into this team. The only thing we want is just a fair shake at the very least. So Adam Silver, I know he was talking about the physicality and the way that they want to rough the games or the way that fans are saying they want to see things now. You're going to have to get there quick. That's something that is going to have to be instilled because it's messing up the game. You got everybody going out there and flopping their head back, trying to get calls. Well, you know, it's crazy seeing the Pistons go out there and literally it's not in their DNA. People keep saying, Cade got to sell it more. Cade's not driving in a manner that will get the calls. It just looks like it'll hurt him if he flopped or this or that. These guys are just trying to play straight up. And when your rules penalize the players that are playing straight up, there's a problem with your game. There's a problem with your game. Just point blank, period.
Absolutely.
And when those rules fail those players and you can't even give them an explanation, now the referees are failing them. Not just the rules, but the referee. And I think that to me personally, when you're looking at Cade with, bro, I covered a game where Cade had a black guy, literally a black guy, scratches, marks on his neck. What are we doing? I get his basketball. We've all gotten the scratch. What are we doing on plays where they weren't even calling fouls? The play that he got a black eye, do you know what they called a foul on him?
Yeah, that was crazy.
They challenged the play, and they still upheld it. That's what I'm saying. There are things that they're getting wrong on challenges. And I'm telling you guys, like the fan part of me wants to go all the way in. The media part of me, there's things that I'm hearing, things that you're close to, things that you know are going to affect this team, and you realize it's going to leave a lot of Detroit Pistons fans disappointed if they don't find a way to overcome this. So it's like there's two groups we got to talk to. And the first I'm going to address after the refs did them stanky, it's not going to be the refs first. Go to my team, address my team, talk to our guys. You know what I'm saying? Then we can get to these referees. Because right now, no matter what we think about the refs, if the Pistons don't find a way, it's going to cost them again. Now, we could say to a small degree that we're overreacting. Close loss. You lost Duncan Robinson. You know what I mean? You lost Asar Thompson. You had the refs not on your side tonight. You're on the road. You had a couple jersey retirements. You got multiple people who are at home. You know what I'm saying? Like home cooking. There was a lot that went on here.
Yeah.
This team still fought. This team did not quit at all. So it's like the criticisms from earlier, I'm hoping that those things didn't overshadow the fact that it's like, I'm proud of this squad. 21-6 to this point in the season. They gave themselves a good chance to go out there and win that thing tonight. And they had to overcome a lot. I think that does speak to a large part of their character. It's just hard to really break that type of stuff down when it's an L. I don't even know if players want to hear that type of stuff. Yeah. Stu just looked frustrated that they did not get a dub tonight. And when they do win, you hear people like Ron Hunter go out there and say, I don't care what my stats look like. They even say, like, bro, we're not even looking at, what the shooting percentage is. We're just going out there and trying to play right and play hard and hustle and play defense.
Yeah. And I think that, that's what separates this Piston team from a lot of people is their DNA. And Cade said that. I don't know if you picked that up during the audio broadcast, but when he was arguing with the ref, he said, I'm not one of those. When he talked about when he thought Anthony Davis fouled him on a three-point shot. He went to the ref. I believe that's when he got his tech, or it was right around that moment where he got his tech. And
I like that. I'm not one of those. Make me that T-shirt.
He said that. Yeah, he's like, I'm not one of those. He's like, me. Like that's why he got so vividly pissed, is because he's like, come on, guys. Like, you guys know the people around the league that are in your ear every single play. No matter what you did, right or wrong, you could have made the right call that play, but they're going to be in your ear about 3 plays ago. And he's like, I'm not that, man. And that to me was like, it was like you could feel the pain. And I know it's a much smaller, very, very, very less drastic scale, but it reminds me of somewhat that conversation we had when you were in the media room where Cade on the losing streak goes, I guess we're not bad. We're bad. And it's like, that's almost what it was, a more angry version of that, but it was almost like that's why he got so frustrated. He's like, come on, like if I'm coming to you for something, it's real. Like, I'm not coming to you for no bullshit. I'm not SGA. I'm not Jalen Brunson. I'm not these guards out here that are just foul hunting. Trae Young. Jaylen Brown did it against us. That was Jaylen Brown's game plan. His game plan. Jaylen Brown looked like a bigger Trae Young that game. It was ridiculous. Like, he was just literally just dribbling into the elbow range and hunting fouls. That's it. He was hunting reaches. He was hunting fouls. Cade doesn't do that, man. Cade takes it. Cade, like you said, wasn't finishing. What does he do? He comes back stronger. Now he's finishing. Like, it's just it was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. But tonight, I do think that as much as the refs were frustrating, I would put a lot of that on. I would just look in the mirror and say, what can we do? Like, how do we give up all these points? And Asar being ejected, going back to the refs, is
That's what I'm saying. That was
crucial
the
because
biggest part of the game.
defense, you're right. Defense could have absolutely won you this game. And not to mention, Kool-Aid, the way this Piston team was getting offensive rebounds, it seemed like that was going up and up as the game went on. Imagine a guy like Asar crashing the boards with Durant. Like, he would have played a lot of Javonte Green's minutes, right?
Yep.
And you're telling me that he wasn't going to put back one or two of those that the Pistons just weren't able to?
Well, and the thing that Asar was doing well is he's not going to get the defensive looks that Cade was. They had to continue to double team Cade because they couldn't keep him out of that mid. Anytime Anthony Davis sat down, it was just like, oh, that's mine. And Asar Thompson was having success with that. Mm-hmm. So that's the part of it that hurts. Is I think this was a two-edged sword double whammy. His defense was going to help you tremendously, especially down the stretch. Throw him on Cooper flag and make every single one of those looks for him as tough as possible, because he got a couple looks down the stretch where he was able to hit the shot or make the right pass, the right play. And I do believe that Asar Thompson is just the type of defender, especially at the end of games where he's locked in. And I think he probably frustrates or discombobulates him just a little bit, man. So that sucks when you lose him. But offensively is where I thought you could have really used Asar Thompson tonight. And he gotten off to a good start in this game. So it sucks because even the way Asar Thompson talked to the ref, I'm not even used to him talking to the ref that way. Even. You know, you can tell that this thing is starting to really bother them. That was borderline crash for him. That's a crash.
Yeah, for him. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what I mean. Like, it's getting to the point where if they don't do something, you know what I mean? Like, where does this come to a head, man? But like I said, the Pistons are 21-6 right now. I wouldn't call this a bad loss at all. The loss to the Bucks a couple weeks ago, that one was a bad loss. This one was one in which I believe they did a lot right. They cost themselves a little bit down the stretch here, but they did a lot right. And I do believe that if this game was just a little bit more called balancing, just even a little bit, because this thing was like this. If it was just like that, I think that the Pistons actually win this thing kind of going away, bro. I do. And I do. I think that that's a testament to who they are. I do. But the league got to do better. I know JB Bickerstaff is hot. You don't ever want your team to develop a relation, a reputation.
Animosity. Yeah.
Yeah. And have this animosity from the refs. You just don't want that, because the players that get these foul baiting calls, these are players that you're going to face in the playoffs. These are players that you're going to face when you get to the finals. And we were sitting here looking at Jalen Brunson get some calls in some of them games, and we were sitting here like, man, what's going on? Karl Anthony Towns getting some calls in some of those games. You want to set yourself up to be in a little bit better position down the stretch and going into the playoffs, where you can remove the referees being the center of attention from the equation as much as possible. I think that that's just what you have to do if you're Detroit. I don't believe that you're ever going to find yourself in a position to where you can actually rely on the referees. Like, you know what? They're going to call these calls for Cade Cunningham today. Right. I just don't think that's going to happen, man. It should. And I implore everybody, man, the fans and everybody, let your mouths be heard. That's why I'm putting the comments up on the screen. Whether I agree or not, I'm going to put them up there because I this is what you guys feel. This platform is part ours and part you guys, man. I get this. The Pistons are truly Detroit versus everybody. And I promise you, bro, if I was waking up tomorrow to wake up Woodward or something like that, I'm telling y'all, I would be going crazy tomorrow on the show. I definitely would, man. I definitely would. And this is, I hate when I see this type of stuff. Cade don't got the footwork of Brunson or SGA. What does that have to do with Cade not getting the calls that he deserves to get? And what does footwork have to do with the fact that we see Brunson and SGA flopping, throwing their head?
When did a ref call a foul because of footwork? No, like, you get called a foul because you're hitting your arm or you're doing this or that. Like, it's not footwork that gets fouls. I do think that those two guards have great footwork, obviously. But I think Cade does too. I think Cade's footwork is tremendous this year. The way what he's shown in the low post and just the patience operating within the paint that's always congested. That's crazy. That's crazy. Shout out.
They knew.
Shout out.
They knew.
Shout out the super chat. Yeah. Shout out the super chat, man. That was they definitely ruined my fucking birthday. Absolutely.
Let me see here. May said, "Preach Kool-Aid." Hey, trust me, y'all. Like I'm in a position right now where it's just like, yeah, I'm pissed off at the refs. This is not the product that you want to endorse. This was, you know what? I'm gonna say this. I believe that the NBA refs are a worse problem than the All-Star weekend format, like the All-Star game and dunk contest. I believe the refs are worse than that. I know people are like, yo, the dunk contest is trash. What is this new All-Star format? Even Cade Cunningham came out and said, I don't really mess with the actual All-Star format. I wish they would just go back to East versus West. But I do believe that the referees, more than anything else, when you talking about the game, I think that that's what's costing this league. You got to get this right. You got two players over here in Cade and Duran who aren't just ethical hoopers, but these are people that you can build that star foundation on. They sitting here talking about, oh man, who's going to be the American-born player? It's like they finally started to insert Cade into that. But I promise you, we have a couple candidates over here that should have been in that conversation a long time ago. We hear them hype machine for everybody else. And to see Cade Cunningham not even win Rookie of the Year after putting up stats on he and Michael Jordan did, it was like, okay, that's the time y'all going to be on. That's the time y'all going to be on. But that's the time they on. And I'm glad that Cade kind of knew that coming in. I'm glad that there was a game where Cade went even afterwards and put Detroit versus everybody. So it's like he already understands what the deal is going to be. And that's why I'm glad to know that every year these guys are coming back better players. These guys are coming back stronger because they understand what they have to be ready and prepared for. And that's why we started this thing off the way that we did, talking about the things they could have done to overcome. Like, I wish I could put up a poll, man, that just asks the people straight up, like, do you believe that the Pistons are good enough to have overcome the refs? Do you believe that your team is good enough to overcome when these refs are some boo-boo? I can
comment
tell you
that right now.
If they're 21-6, comment below. If they're 21-6 right now, I promise you they overcame some boo-boo refs. And I promise you that this team has it in them. They still have it in them to overcome this trash. It's trash. Aaron S., my guy, I promise you, me and you are in lockstep. The referees were trash. But just like I raised kids too, man. It might be the parent in me now, man. I'm different than I was when I first got on here as Detroit Kool-Aid. Before, when I didn't have to care, I was just like, man, launch these refs to the sun. But now it's just like, I'm teaching my son, like, bro, if you get fouled, you still got to make it. I want you to be the one that can yell and one, not the one who's trying to go to the line to sink two. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the philosophy. And I believe this team could do it. If I did not believe this team could do it, then that's something completely different. I wouldn't be saying this about last year's team. I'm saying this about a squad that, no matter how crazy people think I am, I think that their expectations, some people say, no, they got to win a playoff series. This is let them do that. Yeah, that's my baseline. I believe that this team is good enough to represent in the Eastern Conference Finals and have a good shot to go to the championship. That's just where we're at. That's how good I think they are. That's what I'm going to address. Hey, y'all already know what the deal is. Y'all already know the ref's going to be on BS time. Y'all already know they're going to be trying to show up you guys all night. Cage, you already know you ain't going to get no calls. So what time are y'all going to be on?
That's facts. Cool. You know why they have a good chance of representing this is we talked about this on the heavyweights today. The reason Pistons have a good chance of representing the East is there is a parallel for them. It may seem a bit of a reach at first, but when you break it down, it's pretty solid. The Pistons are on track right now. That was before this loss, so that might change. But they were on track for 67 wins this season. The 2014-2015 Warriors got 67 wins. They also had an MVP, aka an All-NBA first player, and they had a player finish second in most improved. They had a player in the all-defense first team. Does that sound like the Pistons? Does that not sound like the Pistons? Right now, you have an MVP candidate, Cade Cunningham. You have a most improved player of the year in Jalen Duren. You have an all-defense first team pick, at least one, if not two.
And Dennis Jenkins, 6th man of the year.
And Dennis Jenkins, 6th man of the year if he gets the opportunity. No, I know he's got to play more after tonight, man. Holy shit, that was a great game. But like this Piston team has real DNA. So I hate that there are these conversations. It's the Knicks and nobody else. Or, well, what if Boston gets going? What if Tatum comes back? Really? You're going to sit here and talk about Jason Tatum when this Piston team is playing like this? You're going to talk about Tatum, respect to Tatum, but coming off of Achilles, you're going to talk about bringing in that guy and maybe then Boston has enough? Like, what are we doing? The way they're going out of their way to disrespect the Pistons and their legitimacy is insane. Because when you look at historical preference, people want to bring up the Atlanta Hawks, right? The 2014 and 15 Atlanta Hawks, right? They had nobody average 17 a game. Their highest point per game score was 16.7. We are not the Atlanta Hawks. Yes, we're a deep team, but that doesn't mean we're the fucking Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks had no star. They had all-stars, but they did not have a star. And they didn't have real all-stars either, by the way, to keep it a whole stack. You're telling me Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren both average more than anybody on that team. You put them on that team, those are the two players. Those are the top two players on the team. Unequivocally, it doesn't matter who's starting. Al Horford, Jeff Teague, you're now sliding to the bench. Both of you. Like, it's just like, what are we doing? That team had no All-NBA representation. That team had no award representation other than Coach of the Year, which I thought should have gone to Steve Kerr. Again, looks great in hindsight. But you look at this Piston team, and this Piston team does have a team that will be represented and decorated in awards this year. Not just All-Stars, awards this year. This team will be represented.
And not just kind of he got this award, he could be a flash in the pan. No, I don't think that these Pistons are a flash in the pan team.
No.
And that's the reason why I believe the energy we had. Look, guys, and maybe we should preface this. All year, unless there's like crazy good things I highlight about a singular game or a big moment, the context is going to always be with the fact that a lot of us now believe this Pistons team is one that should be held to a higher standard.
Yes.
This Pistons team is one that's going to find themselves in positions to where either they're going to be able to overcome or they're going to be the Atlanta Hawks, who can't seem to overcome referees. They can't seem to overcome when the playoff style of refereeing happens. Who else can't? Donovan Mitchell and them Cavs. They can't overcome it. That's what I'm saying. Now, the teams that do, no matter what we say about foul bait and the SGA, they strap the F up on defense.
Yes.
They go all out literally every single minute of the game. Like, they're hitting free throws. They're doing some things there. And our Pistons team, I believe that they're cutting that same mold, but I believe what's separating them from the championship level that OKC actually is that overcomability with the referees, the things you can do to control those fine, small margins. So trust me, we are pissed off. And maybe next time we'll handle it better. Because I'd be forgetting sometimes, Platte. It's therapy sometimes too. Because Aaron is right. They can definitely overcome it. It's just frustrating as hell when we can't because of them. And I get that. And that's why I'm like, maybe we come on here next time. We say, the hell with the refs. The hell with them. You know what I'm saying? And so people know we're on that same energy with y'all. But our squad, we got a few more, reps to make sure we go through so we can walk that walk. This is Detroit. This is what grit is about. That's the whole point. I don't give a freaking no ref is on my side. Are you kidding me? I'm just being free up, and I almost said the wrong word, man. You know me. Platte, like, I do not care. It's going to piss me the heck off. But I think that this is the type of team that's like, I don't know, I'm getting excited because I think they're the type of team that you push them this type of way, you're going to make them rattle off 10 straight wins. I know they don't want the Pistons wrecking the league again. Think about how many narratives they wrecked, bro. They wrecked Kobe and Shaq's last attempt at really going out there and making something happen. Think about this, man. You want to go back to 89, 90? They was trying to launch Michael Jordan's career, and the bad boys was like, bro, pick another decade. It's not happening in this one. The NBA was mad. Being for real, Terry Foster, dog. That's what I'm saying. Now you got the Pistons finding a way to actually toe the line and bludgeon teams, and they're off to a 60-win pace. You're going to have to find a way to overcome. Because I promise you, if you want to talk about the restore, and we look at our old teams, they wasn't getting nothing. They weren't getting it. And the league was so pissed that they changed the rules after each one of the Pistons championships. Go back and look at it.
Yep.
Go back. Well, after the Bad Boys era. So after their second championship, they changed the rules. And then after the 04 Pistons, they changed the rules. Hand checking couldn't happen. There were certain, like, you couldn't swipe in an area. So we look at players like Jalen Duren today getting called for fouls where he's swiping but not touching anyone. Bro, they changed those rules after the 04 Pistons. So that's what I'm saying. Like, this league is like, man, Pistons, but we're one of the most storied franchises out there. So that's why I'm just like, all right, we gotta elevate. And this team is one that I'm sitting here like you going through and you're looking at the similarities and comparing them to the makeups of other championship teams from the past. And I'm doing the same thing, like,
but cool.
Like, we're back.
Let me offer a glass half full with that.
Yeah.
Those 3 championships have one thing in common, and that is David Stern. This is Adam Silver. He's a bit more friendly. He did say, hey, you know what? Maybe the game likes some physicality. Cade Cunningham had a tech. All of a sudden, he didn't have a tech. I don't know what happened. That guy may have gotten a call and said, hey, you want to see your family again? You better direct that. Like,
social
Adam
media
Silver
lit up so quick, dog.
Adam Silver,
like,
man. Adam Silver, man. I'm telling you, it's a different commissioner. He said some things that kind of lean in the direction of the Pistons. So, until then, don't count on him. Overcome. But maybe this commissioner will be a little different. This commissioner will be a little different.
I mean, you hear the conversation now, and it's like maybe he understands it. And it was interesting when shout out to the NBA, shout out to the Detroit Pistons. Actually, I think our entire beat that went down last year, it was all of our first time at the All-Star break. So all of us were first-time All-Stars. While K was a first-time All-Star, and Lasar Thompson was rising star. And we actually got to share an elevator with Adam Silver. It was crazy. He walks in. We're at Golden State's new arena, and it's all these buttons pushed, because we're trying to get to different floors. Some media is up, some's down. He comes in, he's like, I'm so sorry, everybody. I hope everyone's having a good time, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, why is he apologizing? You're Adam Silver. He said something to the host that's doing the elevator. She put a key in that mug, and all the lights went off. Put his in. I was like, dang. I'm like, all right. I mean, that's the commissioner. It's All-Star weekend. So he was rolling around with a crew. During that elevator ride, though, he was cool, man. Shout out to Cody Davis from the Detroit News. He ain't afraid to say nothing to nobody. He's just sitting there. He looks up at Adam Silver. He's like, how you doing? I'm just like, hey. He talks to him, and you can get a sense that he wants to do what's right for the league. I just wonder if he understands what that is. But when I heard him start to talk about the physicality being back, what was happening at the same time? The Pistons were trending on social media for how they were winning.
Yeah.
So I do. And this is something I'm going to try and pull on some threads to try and see what I can hear from some of the people around the media and other scouts to see if this is something that is serious. If Adam Silver is speaking it from the front, I'm hoping that we actually see a reversal. Instead of them changing rules after the Pistons win, they can see how good it is for the NBA that the Pistons are playing like this, and actually Adam Silver come through on it and change this thing. Because Aaron Ness is right. He says defense is fun. And I 100% agree with that. And you got some love, too. They do think that, David Stern being gone is bad for business for the Pistons, man. But that's a whole nother thing. I see a couple people here in the chat, win or lose Detroit basketball. And that's the thing. Like, we talking about our squad in a different air tonight. This season, they're completely different than the past. This is a team that I'm always going to look at and talk about in the context of they're real. This squad, they're supposed to win a playoff series and fight like hell to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Mm-hmm. That's my minimum expectation with this team. And I understand the things that can thwart stuff. Why didn't they move on last year? If they just literally called a foul, which was blatantly a foul on Tim Hardaway, they at least are playing a Game 7 at Madison Square where Cade won, 4 times last year? 2 in the regular season, 2 in the playoffs? It was Madison Square Cade, we were calling it. So Absolutely. It's like, nope, never again. Never again. Trust me, y'all. Next time we'll get on here, we will fry those refs. and then we'll get into breaking down the players and what they need to do better, because I do believe we're back, Platte. You got to let me see that jersey real quick. Which one is that one?
This one right here, Mr. 2 in blue. 2 in blue, 2 in teal.
The thing is that
teal, tell them how you feel.
The teal era ushered us into what era? The 04 era.
Mm-hmm.
Jerry Stackhouse, he wore the teal. Grant Hill wore the teal. You know, and we traded Jerry Stackhouse to get Richard Hamilton as a part of the 04 lore, 04 legends. You know what I mean? Like, this is it. Yep. Terry Foster. Shout out to the legend Terry Foster.
Sadiq Bey died for this.
He said, this is it, man. He said it. He was like, yo, this Pistons team, he said, I saw the bad boys come together. This is it. And he said, get on board now. The same thing he said about the Lions on an episode of the Heavies. I don't know where Spinning Easy were, but they had me and I think you might have been TDing there, but they had me and T Foss out at like Dispo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think you were TDing. That was the show that he said the Lions are back. And we looked at him like, what? They back though. He said, look, the way I was talking about the Lions then, and the Lions didn't even have a back to get to. Like, he was just saying that they're for real. He said that he believes this Pistons team is cut from the same mold of our championship teams. But obviously, they're gonna have to learn. They're gonna have to grow. Right. And Trajan Lane and the core are gonna have to continue to do the right things around the players as they have to this point.
Yeah. Nothing's a given, man. Do you know how many NBA franchises or just sports franchises have such bright futures, and then it just doesn't come together? So nothing is guaranteed, but at the same time, you could definitely put some stock in what's going on here. And it's because of the way they played tonight. It's because of the fact that this team just, outside of one game this season, refuses to not be competitive. This is a game, Kool-Aid, that most people, I mean, Mavs were up double digits this whole game. Let's call it what it was.
It was 77% of the game.
It was a game where it ain't my night. Roll over. You know, we'll get them next time, guys. Nah, it's a West team. We won't see this team. We already played them once. So this is our second time and final time playing them. Who cares? No.
Yeah, but I know K wanted that win. I saw that ball, that 3-ball pop out, I was just like, oh my gosh. You know, because that boy looked like he was halfway down, man, and it just popped out. So that's what I'm saying. Like, there are things. And I think Aaron S. Shout out to Aaron S. I think he's the feature for tonight. I think before we had Mishanuga, one time before, I forget who it was. We wanted to breaking bread about in the show. And this show is Aaron S. And he says when they shoot that bad, it is encouraging in a way when you took a rough back team to overtime after shooting that poorly. Not going to be that bad every night. It's not going to be that bad every night. Trust me, man. Trust me. And you know what? I like the fact that this team showed the fight and the character and the poise that they did. Like, you know, this was a night that if the refs are that bad on a consistent basis, it's going to be a problem. My issue is they don't have to be that bad on a nightly basis. They can just pick one. They can have one bad game in the playoffs, and it can cost you dearly. And so if our squad is one that's like, you know what, F these refs, skip y'all. It's Detroit versus everybody. We still going to go out there and house it. I think that's where this team is getting. That's what I think. People are still pissed off. They're pissed at these refs.
Hey, man, get it out your system.
How much did Dallas pay the refs?
Get out your system. Pistons don't lose often. Crash out.
Mid-May, I love JB for calling out the refs. Man, he's been on it. He's called them out from the press conference table so many times, man. And I'm glad that he does it. Like, that's what he's supposed to do. You want your players focused on getting better and not worried about talking to the refs, because that could get you tossed now, just talking.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, or getting too close.
Mishanuga said it. We need to actually stop talking to her. And that's what I was trying to portray earlier, is that these referees have the ability to make a bad call on a game, cost you the game, admit that it cost you the game after the game, and it doesn't change your result.
It doesn't. Yeah. Thank you.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's where we were at earlier. Like, all right, if it was just encapsulation of, you know, just this game, then yeah, we're gonna get on here and we're gonna bash the refs, because that was horrible. That was far from satisfactory or average. That was horrible. That was probably, in my opinion, it might be the worst ref game of the year for the Pistons. I'm sitting here thinking like we watched every game except for maybe one, and it's like I think that might be the worst ref game I've seen. I know there were some other ones where like Stu got ejected, but that's I expect reputation stuff. But this one tonight was one that was just like, bro, y'all are all over the place, dog. Like my man teed up Cade, pointed right to him and did this. And then we come back from break and it's just JB Bickerstaff is the one. JB Bickerstaff didn't even do anything there. He just went and grabbed Cade to take him back. So, this is tough, man. It's tough, but I'm proud to know and happy to know we can talk about a squad that we believe is good enough to overcome this stuff. But let me see this. treat the refs like Prince. Don't look them in the eye. Golly, dog. That sucks. I get it. It's frustrating. Yeah, you just saw Stu tonight. That was what he was talking about. The second question, you could just see it. And, man, I'm hoping that those guys can get a better shake, a more fair whistle. But even more so than that, I'm hoping that these guys can continue to step into the place, like step into the realization of who they are.
Yeah.
Like that's Duran. Like you see Duran doing it. I think that this Pistons team step into being the number one seed. Seriously, because there's a lot of people out there who think y'all gonna fall off. Seeing those all questioning, who are the Pistons? Are they really gonna do this? Are they for real? Blah, 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 blah. What are you talking about? What are you guys talking about? They just made the playoffs and pushed the darling Knicks to almost 7 games, which it should have been. What are we talking about? K won 2 games on the road in the playoffs. What are we talking about? This team is for real. Any last words for the people? Baltimore Platte?
Just smash the like for me, please. That's all I ask for my birthday, man. Look, all my birthday work until 1 a.m., but working with my guy Kool-Aid makes it so easy. Covering the team I love in the Detroit Pistons with the chat that I love the most in the Woodward Sports chat. So I'm grateful for you guys, and all I ask, man, is that you smash that like button for me. I got to go upstairs and make sure I still have a girlfriend. Make sure she still tolerates me after all the times I work, after all the hours I work. But no, man, I think this Pistons team, man, these are learning lessons, man. Like they really are. We said that with Milwaukee, and what did they do? They came out strong in those next couple of games. And look, this East is ours for the taking. You see it. Like you see it. This Piston team refuses to play multiple, refuses to just quit. Like they are going to be in every single game. And when you have the best closer in basketball every single game and it's close, stats show you're going to win the game. So I can't get too frustrated. I can't crash out about tonight. The bad officiating, all of that. It is what it is, man. It is what it is. It was this game, and it won't be the next.
Yeah,
and that's the way you gotta look at it.
Exactly, man. My man preaching on his birthday. Shout out to Platte. I'm happy for you personally, and looking forward to where this journey takes us. And
absolutely.
Dre Money 3-3 says Pistons can actually beat the New York Knicks. We really got robbed, and that's where I'm gonna put the Detroit on it. Can't get robbed no more.
Yeah,
it's got to be that. It's got to be like, yo, I got bars on my window. You know what I mean? There's bars on my door when you walk up. Like you're not just busting in here. My car got one of them like wheel locks on it. I got the JMO Glock underneath the passenger seat. You know what I mean? Like that's where I'm hoping that this Pistons team can get to. We know now that this Pistons team is one of your top 5 teams. I'm gonna say top 5 teams in the league. We know they're top 1 in the East. I'm gonna say top 5 in the league overall.
Yeah, so it's like, I think that makes sense. If you're number 1 in the East, you're probably like top 5 in the league. Because the West is some dogs, but
they some dogs. But that's the thing. If I don't believe this Pistons team is top 5 in the league, but number 1 in the East, I don't really believe in this team. And that's what I'm saying. Like there are some dogs, but I'm expecting the Pistons to go out there and compete against your OKCs and go out there and give yourselves a great chance to win against everybody else that's beneath them. But I'm hoping that the Pistons can go, and instead of it being one of those aspects of, dang, we got robbed tonight, let's change that up. Because I tell you this, we put on buffs, We put on the Detroit hats. We put on all the culture. And the last thing that we saying or accepting, even if it happens, is, oh man, we got robbed. What are you gonna do about it? And that's how my start to tonight's stream was. It was about that. Look, we know that they walked in. Can't let that happen no more. That's just how it goes. You know. So shout out to the Pistons though, 21-6. Mr. Nuga says shout out to the refs.
No, don't shout out the refs.
No, not at all. But
no shout out to the refs.
They're coming schedule here, man, just to close out December. The Pistons could be sitting pretty, man, going into the new year, all right? They play the Hornets this Saturday night at home. I will be in the building. We're gonna go live right after that from the arena. Pistons, Trailblazers right after that on Monday. Tuesday. Bro, so they play Saturday, Monday, Tuesday. That's going to be a little bit of a stretch. And they're traveling too. So they're going to be at home in Detroit against the Hornets. They go out to the Trailblazers, and then they go to play Sacramento Kings on Tuesday. Then Friday, they got the Jazz. Sunday, the Clippers. Tuesday, the Lakers on Peacock. National TV. Pistons. They actually have 2 national TV games there. They play the Hornets on NBA TV tomorrow, and they got the Lakers at the end of this month on Peacock. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 winnable games there for your Detroit Pistons. I know the Lakers have been playing a little bit different as of late, but I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I'm sitting here looking at this. I expect 6 dubs, but I'm going to call it. Pistons will go 4-2 during this stretch. What are you thinking?
I say 5-1. I meet in the middle. I think they're absolutely capable of 6-0, but I just feel like, again, I think that formula just checks out for a lot of wins, even if it's ugly wins, when you are a team that refuses to get blown out and you have the best closer in the game. And so I think that you do that and you're going to win most of your games. Some of those games, like you said, could end up being bad officiating, maybe not playing the right rotation down the stretch, whatever, or just the ball just not bouncing your way. But I think this Pistons team definitely has a chance at going 6-0. I wouldn't be shocked at 6-0. In fact, the more I talk about it, the more I kind of lean 6-0. But I'll go 5-1 to be kind of conservative, kind of hedge myself a little bit. But I just think the Pistons have a formula that is going to be rinse, repeat, and lead to a lot of victories in the regular season. And and then that's why everybody has that conversation of, are they a playoff team or are they just a regular season team? But I think you're going to see it's going to work. It's going to be different in the playoffs, but it's going to work. It's going to work. So I feel good about the stretch.
And you know what? This isn't the final stage of this team. This is not the final stage of this team, man. When we look at Kid Buu, when we look at like Cell Saga from Dragon Ball Z, when we look at Goku and all of his different forms, it's like, if I know that I believe this team can get to like Ultra Instinct mode, then I'm going to push for that while they're just at Super Saiyan 2. Like, trust me, last year they showed us Super Saiyan 1. This year they're like, yo, we're serious. We're just going straight to Super Saiyan 3. But what if we believe this team could be even better than that? Then my focus is going to be on, get there. Because this team could do something extremely special this year. Extremely special. When's the last time we saw them even win a playoff series, let alone win at home in the playoffs? It's been a long time.
Don't remind me.
But I believe that this is a team who we should be treating as one that can go out there and will win a playoff series, will win some home playoff games, will compete their tails off to get to the Eastern Conference Finals. It's different now, man. And you know what? Shout out to Mr. Nuga, man. One of my favorite people in this chat now. Like, it just overall, it's been cool last couple streams interacting.
Shout out.
He says, you two are the best closers in the game. Shout out to Woodward.
Shout out.
All right. Man. This is it. For Dre Money, I'm sorry. The Mavs and the refs beat the Pistons tonight.
It was a tag team effort.
Pause.
No. I mean, the context, in that context, pause. Pause.
Oh, goodness. Well, you know what, you guys?
Now, if I said they were tag teaming us, then that's a pause.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
You're right. Shout out to the people, though, man, for being here. This was dope for you guys sticking around, all the different comments. And you know what? Honestly, seeing the vitriol of the people, man, I think that to me is is the awesome part of it. Seeing their fire, seeing their passion. So, man, we appreciate you guys. So it is Detroit versus everybody. The refs were trash. They definitely owned the night. They stole the show on a night that should have been about Cade Cunningham's return home. He just had his high school jersey retired, man. He got his family in the stands. This is where he grew up. He grew up a Dallas Mavericks fan. Like, think about that. Like, that's kind of wild. And then you got
Cowboys fan too. But we're not going to talk about that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Dennis Jenkins and Marcus Sasser, they're from there. Dennis Jenkins had his high school jersey retired. It's just like, why are you guys trying to upstage 2 former number 1 overall, the current number 1 overall pick versus Cade Cunningham, who was a number 1 overall pick? We had so many things that they could have highlighted. So many things that they, as for your NBA product, that you guys could have put out on Front Street. And the one thing that everybody's going to come away from this, including Dallas fans, is the refs.
Yep.
That's just how it goes. And I don't think that that's what you want your fans to come away with, is knowing that the refs had something to do with this game tonight in a negative way. Overwhelmingly. It's like they're going to miss calls. Miss them both ways. Tonight was just too much, man. So that's my last sayings. That's my rant. Any you good, Platte?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man. My head is high. My back is straight. This Pistons team is the best in the East. And until that changes, ain't no slouch in my posture. We're good over here.
Happy birthday to you.
Appreciate you,
birthday. Man. I had to sing the black.
Appreciate the chat, man. Again, everybody, dude. Oh, I've got
the soul version.
I've gotten so many versions. I've gotten the Arabic happy birthday. I've gotten this. I've gotten them more. Checking all the boxes tonight. But thank you.
Get up there, man, and get that. Enjoy the last of your birthday. Shout out to Lady Platte, man.
Yes. Shout out to
y'all. Smash that like button before y'all get out of here, man. Shout out to the Pistons.
I like it one time for the boy, for Kool-Aid. For Kool-Aid holding it down as always, man. Again, thank you for bringing me on this journey, man. It's been incredible. It's been incredible. And we're just, dude, it's not even. Remember how they say the season doesn't start till Christmas?
Yep. That's why right now it's like, be a little bit like, let's see this team go. Like, they're 21-6 after a loss tonight. That's still, I'm just sitting here like, I'm not supposed to feel good about the loss, but I'm like, they're 21-6. These Detroit Pistons, dog. What a freaking ascending superstar. Like the last superstar we had didn't really have great playoff success. Mm-hmm. Like this one has an opportunity to actually be at the top of the East, to be the face of the league. Like we've not, to be universally liked. We've never had like this much potential, because Isaiah Thomas, we love him. I don't know how much people outside of Detroit love him. The Detroit Pistons in 2004, they didn't really have the superstars. I felt like they had stars, but people still think that they were a starless team. This is one where they're playing the right way. You got a superstar. Let's go, man. Let's go. All right, y'all. Have a good night. Thank you to my guy, Platte. Bro, we're going to crush this season.
Thank you.
And it's because of all you guys out there supporting us. So, man, support Wilbur Sports.
Smash the like on the way out.
There you go. Start the day early with Sean Bleason Show with Maz in the morning. Let's rock. Do-do-do. Do-do-do.